In a ceramic fishbowl edged with moonlight, there lived a little goldfish named Bubbles. His scales were not the usual orange-red but shimmered like rainbow candy wrappers, changing colors with the light. One morning, as the first rays of sunlight pierced the water's surface, Bubbles discovered a glowing pearl growing on his tail fin. This pearl projected holographic images of an underwater city every midnight, a city with skyscrapers made of coral, aerial gardens woven from seaweed, and singing shell elevators. Bubbles eagerly awaited each night, casting the pearl's glow onto the fishbowl walls, imagining himself exploring that magical city. One day, a translucent jellyfish from the deep sea told him that the pearl was the last memory fragment of the lost underwater kingdom, Rainbow City, and that Bubbles was actually the kingdom's heir. His parents had sealed him in the form of an ordinary goldfish and sent him to the human world for safety during the kingdom's collapse a century ago. Determined to uncover the truth, Bubbles began secret training in the fishbowl. He discovered that his scales could refract laser-like beams at certain angles, his tail fin could generate ultrasonic waves, and he could even manipulate water molecules to create miniature whirlpools. One night, Bubbles mustered the courage to leap out of the fishbowl. To his astonishment, he found he could swim through the air as effortlessly as through water. Guided by the pearl, he flew over the city skyline under the moonlight, passed through a rainbow bridge in the clouds, and arrived at a forgotten seaside cave. Deep inside the cave stood a portal made of coral and crystal, embedded with 7 pearls of different colors, matching the one on his tail fin. When Bubbles placed his pearl into the final slot, the portal hummed melodiously and sucked him into a tunnel of liquid light. At the end of the tunnel lay the ruins of Rainbow City, floating silently in a deep-sea trench. The crumbling buildings were covered in glowing hydroids, and the streets were scattered with walking pearls and singing conches. Bubbles swam into the palace ruins and found a talking mirror beneath the shattered throne. The mirror revealed that a century ago, an environmental disaster caused by an oil spill had destroyed the city. His parents had used their last strength to seal the city in a temporal rift, waiting for the right moment to restore it. Just then, a group of mutated deep-sea creatures, born from the disaster, detected Bubbles' presence. Covered in black oil sludge with eyes like rusted gears, they lunged at him. Bubbles immediately unleashed the skills he had honed in the fishbowl. His scales refracted, creating a dazzling net of light among the monsters. The ultrasonic waves from his tail fin shattered their oily shells, and he manipulated water currents to form whirlpool barriers, trapping the creatures. After an intense battle, Bubbles finally purified the last monster. The city began to tremble, the hydroids on the buildings turned into glowing specks, and the pearls and conches on the streets came back to life. Bubbles swam to the city's highest clock tower and placed the pearl from his tail fin into the crystal sphere at the top. Instantly, Rainbow City broke free from the temporal rift and reappeared in the clear seawater. Bubbles' parents appeared before him as beams of light, telling him he must remain in the human world as a bridge between the two civilizations. When Bubbles returned to the fishbowl, he found his scales had turned into a permanent rainbow hue, and the pearl on his tail fin had transformed into a pulsating heart-shaped gem. From then on, every night, Bubbles would use the pearl's glow to tell stories of the underwater kingdom on the fishbowl walls, and his young owner would dream of the, where Bubbles wore a crystal crown and swam freely through coral forests, followed by a school of glowing fish that shimmered like the Milky Way. Gradually, Bubbles' story spread throughout the community, inspiring people to care for the ocean, clean up beaches, and reduce plastic use. Bubbles' fishbowl became a beloved underwater world museum for children, filled with models often made from recycled materials. Years later, when Bubbles finally completed his mission and prepared to return to the underwater kingdom, his young owner had become a marine biologist. On the day she released him into the sea, the entire ocean shimmered with rainbow light. From then on, every full moon, people by the shore could see a rainbow-colored band of light dancing on the waves, Bubbles patrolling his kingdom, guarding the peace and beauty of both worlds. After returning to Rainbow City, Bubbles found the city fully restored to its former glory. Coral skyscrapers were adorned with glowing barnacles, seaweed gardens bloomed with singing flowers, and shell elevators carried fish to every corner of the city. Bubbles donned the crystal crown but never forgot his friends in the human world. Using his abilities, he created a rainbow tunnel connecting thee and thee. Whenever a child painted a beautiful ocean scene or performed an act of marine conservation, they could visit Rainbow City for a day through the tunnel. Over time, more and more human children visited the underwater kingdom, bringing stories and ideas from thee. Together with the fish, they built, designed flying submarines, and even held joint sports events. Bubbles loved serving as the referee during these games, watching seahorses and jellyfish race alongside human children, and octopuses and crabs play volleyball with them. At night, Bubbles would take the children to the surface, using the heart-shaped gem on his tail fin to summon the aurora borealis, telling stories of both worlds under the stars. Thus, Bubbles became a peace ambassador connecting the ocean and thee. His story was written into books, adapted into movies, and even included in textbooks. More countries began prioritizing marine conservation, establishing protected areas, and developing eco-friendly materials. Rainbow City became the world's largest marine sanctuary, home to countless endangered species. Years later, when Bubbles' young owner was gray-haired, she received a letter from thee, written on glowing jellyfish parchment. It read, "Dear friend, thank you for your care all those years ago. I invite you to Rainbow City for its centennial celebration." When she dove into thee, she found the city transformed into a massive aquarium. Bubbles swam over and gently touched her palm with his tail fin. In that moment, she felt like the little girl who had once listened to his stories by the fishbowl. At the celebration, Bubbles announced that Rainbow City would open to the world, on the condition that visitors pledged to protect the ocean. From then on, Rainbow City became a model of harmony between humans and marine life, and Bubbles' story became an eternal legend. Whenever children asked where Bubbles was now, adults would point to the rainbow on the sea and say, "Look, that's Bubbles patrolling his kingdom." Life in Rainbow City wasn't always smooth for Bubbles. He often had to mediate conflicts between the two worlds. Once, a group of greedy merchants tried to mine rare minerals near Rainbow City. Bubbles led a dolphin guard to disrupt their equipment with ultrasonic waves and summoned a giant octopus to entangle their drilling ship. Finally, Bubbles projected images of the devastated onto the ship using the pearl's glow, moving the workers to abandon their plans. Another time, curious scientists wanted to study Rainbow City's luminescence. Instead of refusing, Bubbles invited them to visit, showing them how technology and nature could coexist harmoniously. Inspired, the scientists developed eco-friendly lighting materials, reducing light pollution in the ocean. Bubbles also established a Guardians of the Ocean training program, selecting outstanding marine creatures and human children each year to teach them how to protect the ocean and resolve conflicts between the two worlds. These guardians went on to become marine park trainers, environmental volunteers, and ocean scientists, spreading Bubbles' ideals far and wide. As time passed, Bubbles' scales lost their rainbow sheen, but the heart-shaped gem grew brighter, filled with countless beautiful memories. When bubbles finally dissolved into a beam of light in the seawater, Rainbow City was bathed in glowing rain, each drop a story about bubbles. From then on, every rainbow over the sea was Bubbles' smile, and every time a child protected the ocean, the heart-shaped gem would flicker in the, reminding us that miracles can happen when there is love in our hearts. Do you still like today's story? If you like, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like icon. You can receive notifications and hear the latest stories as soon as possible. Good night, my baby.